Hi, this is Andrew Sheaf with Mastering Flow. I help triathletes identify the critical skills for faster swimming, and I provide them with the tools to learn those skills in any location. We're continuing to learn how to design effective sets and effective workouts. We're going to continue to focus on creating main sets, this time with an emphasis on endurance development. As there are several ways to create endurance sets, we're going to touch on each of those ways in subsequent videos, this time focusing on the main parameters that you'd want to use. Let's take a look at how those parameters define endurance sets. The main idea is that you need to swim a lot at controlled intensities with not a lot of rest. Remember that perspective and you'll always be on the right track. Relatively speaking, endurance sets require more volume. An increase in endurance training volume tends to support endurance development. As a result, these sets should be the longest sets that you do. Now, you need to remember that long is relative to what you're used to doing. Relatively speaking, intensity should be controlled. A great rule of thumb is that you should always be able to finish at the same speed that you start at. If you can't, you probably started off too fast. Another great rule is that you should always be able to do one more repetition. So, when you finish an endurance set, rather than saying that was the absolute most I could have done, you want to be able to say, that was difficult, but I could have done one more if I had to. Again, if you can't, the intensity is probably too high. One of the great things about endurance sets is the repetition distances can be just about anything. Of course, if you choose to do shorter repetitions, you'll have to do more of those in order to meet the same volume. In terms of a recovery interval, that should be brief, something like 10 to 60 seconds after each repetition. With shorter distances, you need to stay on the shorter side of that, and with longer distances, you have the option to take more rest. Likewise, if you're pushing the pace on the endurance work, you can afford to take a little bit more rest. If the intensity is on the lower end, keep the rests shorter as well. In endurance sets, there's always an interplay between volume and intensity. Another good way to think about it is, the longer the race that you're doing, the more volume should be a little bit more of an emphasis as compared to intensity. In contrast, if you're racing over a shorter distance, intensity might need to predominate a little bit more than volume. However, in all cases, they both matter. Check out the key takeaways at the end of this video for a summary of these key concepts. Likewise, check out the sample sets to see these concepts in action. For access to digital copies of all the sets, as well as the key takeaways, make sure that you click on the link in the description of the video below. That'll get you signed up for free and immediate access.